Welcome back to Elite Dangerous. In a change to my previous PS4 streams, I'm currently back on the PC version here, heading to the HIP 1409 system. I'm looking for the Thargoid structure that's been found in this system. It's one of many that's been discovered since the latest game patch. This particular one is notable as many of them, when you get inside them, they're blocked off with cave-ins and things like that, whereas this one is a rather interesting central chamber you can get to. This time, instead of the golden sidewinder I've got on the PS4, I'm currently flying my ASP Explorer, which is a great ship for stuff like this. You've got this great sort of glass bubble style cockpit that's just great for looking around and taking in the sights. So, as we're heading towards the planet's surface, one thing that's been immediately noted about these structures, other than their very alien origin, is the fact that the sheer size of them means that they can be spotted from reasonably high up. This kind of green blemish on the landscape. Elite Dangerous has obviously taken a lot of flack for its sort of very rocky planet surfaces, and everyone's waiting on them doing some more interesting environments for you to fly in, but here the advantage is certainly that this structure, or whatever it is, really stands out. So as I come into the structure, it's kind of got this interesting look to it. The ping you hear there is I'm using a piece of software called FaceTrack No IR, which uses your webcam as a head tracker and a sort of virtual joystick in the game. So here I'm looking around with the head look just by moving my face and letting my webcam track the movements. It's a fantastic piece of software. Only costs a couple of quid. But here, as I say, combined with the cockpit from the Aspen, you're really able to get a good look around this very alien. It's called a structure, but in some ways it's almost like a growth coming out of the planet itself. We'll come into land by this central part of the main structure, if you like, surrounded by this kind of weird alien landscape, the effect it's had on the planet's surface. And this central structure is where all the discussion has surrounded since these places were first discovered. So as we touch down, I'll switch into my SRV so we can go for a drive and see what we can find. One thing you can see there is the corrosive cargo warning popping up on my display. I'm carrying a unknown artifact at this point. It's necessary to gain entrance to these structures that you carry either an unknown artifact or an unknown probe. So I picked up one before we left, and in a second you'll see me hitting the cargo transfer screen to load it from my ASP to the SRV. In this case I was grabbing the unknown artifact from the third of the crash sites that were found, of what we now know were Thargoid ships. The first crash site doesn't really have any, whereas the second one does, but I find it much more awkward to land at than the third. Again, we just have a look around, a great landscape with that ringed planet in orbit. It's just fantastic visuals. I'm going to switch to the external camera, new functionality that was brought in the 2.3 update, a far more extensive external camera suite. So let's use zoom right out and move around. I've not really got the hang of the smooth camera pans or anything with it yet, but it's great for when you really take in the surroundings. Again, there's that central structure. That's where we're going to be heading. My trusty ASP just parked outside. So now we're back in the SRV. As I said, carrying an unknown artifact. You'll see him come up to the doors in a minute, which is a great kind of organic effect to them, which is very much in keeping with what we've seen with the Thargoid ships so far. And these will not open if you're not carrying one of them. Similarly, you can also see the displays on the SRV starting to glitch out. A nice sort of nod. We know the fully active Thargoid ships completely shut down systems, so here we get the SRVs glitching. And what I've cut there is spent a fair amount of time getting lost in the tunnels before finally made my way here, the central chamber. Again, you've really got that glitching in the display, which when you're trying to do text chat with someone is quite tricky. But you see here there's this central machine that's dominating the room. Here I'm switching to the turret just to make it easier to kind of get scans of the machine, and scanning the actual machine itself is quite important in what you'll see coming up. But there's various other data nodes dotted around that you can scan. You get not voice acted logs this time, but you get your some text logs if you scan those data points. So we see here I've now been joined by a couple of other commanders, and we can also see that they've loaded up the machine. The machine has these 3 slots where you can load up unknown artifacts, unknown probes, and a data link you find in the structure itself. And if you load it up with all 3 Thargoid artifacts, then you get the machine to activate, and you get this wonderful galaxy map that I've not actually managed to see myself yet. However, in this case, one of the commanders has brought some items from the Guardian site. And it turns out the machine's not very keen on Guardian technology. We can see it starting to activate now, it's all lit up. And in a second, the other commander is going to scan it, causing it to activate. Loading the machine with the Guardian technology as opposed to the Thargoid unknown artifacts and unknown probes. You get quite a violent reaction from the machine again. One of the things in Elite Dangerous is just that attention to the design, the sound design. You know, it's not just the visuals, especially if you've ever been in an encounter with a Thargoid ship. The sound designing the encounter here is a really quite violent reaction from the machine, with those pulses damaging anything, any SRVs or anything that gets too close when one goes off. You can see there the shields firing up on one of the passing SRVs. It's a fantastic encounter. I know there's a lot of research still going on at these sites to see what else might happen with them. So for tonight I will leave it there. I will be back with the PC or the PS4 versions shortly. I will leave you with the very angry Thargoid machine.